In this video, I'll show you how easily you can create an AI-driven workflow. We'll build some AI assistance into a ticket submission workflow process to make it more efficient and powerful. Let me show you our starting point. We have a simple support portal here for our fictional bicycle manufacturer, where our customer can log in, view their orders, create new orders, view their support tickets, and submit new ones. When someone submits a ticket, it gets written to my database, and then the support manager can assign it to a support team member. We're going to add an AI-driven workflow to this, which will analyze each ticket and categorize it by ticket type, priority, and tone. For instance, is this person angry? Then another AI assistant will look at the ticket type and priority and automatically assign the ticket to the correct support rep, and then email them. And finally, we'll use a third AI assistant to analyze the ticket, look up our company policies for dealing with that type of ticket, and create 3 suggestions to help the support member handle the ticket. And we'll pull all of this information into a ticket overview page, and I've created an example of what that will look like here, where we have our ticket info, categorization, and suggestions on how to handle it. And we'll do all of this in the Empower Development Platform. Sound good? Okay, let's get started. The first thing I need to do is create that first AI assistant that will read a new ticket and categorize it by priority, type, and tone. And that starts with naming it and choosing the AI assistant template. Once I do that, I just need to add a few fields. And all AI assistants start with 2. The user message, which is the prompt that you're giving the large language model of your choice, and the assistant response, which is what the LLM sends back. Now, I can add more fields in here that basically serve as placeholders for me to pass data in and out of the assistant. In this case, the assistant will need fields for priority, tone, and request type. So once it receives a ticket, it can populate those fields, and then we can use them in future workflow steps to write to the database or to look up data with tool functions. Now, I can build it, and that's the first part of the process. And once it's built, I can use it as part of a workflow, or I could embed it in one of my applications as a chatbot. This one is going to be a workflow though. Okay, now that it's built, I'll jump into the properties where I can do a lot more. First, I can choose which LLM I want to use, and you can set up and use any LLM you want. You could even host your own if you want, but I have these options available. Then I can give it access to whatever pieces of data I want it to see using tool functions, and let me explain those real fast. A tool function can be one of 3 things. It can be an application that's built over your business data. For instance, if I wanted this to see all of our tickets, I'd give it access to an application that's built over my support ticket data, like this one. And it gives the assistant access to all of this information. And I can build applications over any database table or tables and then use them as tool functions. A tool function could also be an external program that performs a specific task, and that can be written in any programming language. And finally, a tool function could be a content retriever, which are a collection of business documents like a knowledge base, FAQs, company policies, that sort of thing. But keep in mind, you can build these content retrievers and add whatever business data you want to them. And tool functions are a really powerful way to give your assistant access to just the business data you want it to see. Now, this assistant doesn't need access to any of my data, but if it did, this is where I would set it up. Getting back into the main customization, let's jump into the system prompt area. And this is really where you tell the assistant what it is, what it should do, what fields it should expect, and what it should output. And while I've been talking, I've started telling the AI system prompt helper what I want this assistant to do, and then it does a pretty good job of writing up a prompt and organizing it. And as you can see, that's exactly what it did here. Now I can make this longer and add some examples for the assistant, but for now, let's just test this out to see if it works. Now keep in mind that with this assistant, no one is going to use this chat interface. Rather, it'll be used in a workflow to take in the ticket description and spit out 3 values, which is exactly what it did here with my test. So this assistant is working great. I've given it one job and it's doing it. Okay, we have our first assistant ready, so let's put it into our ticket workflow. And these are the steps that run when a customer submits a ticket. So I'll select the Call AI Assistant workflow step, give it a quick name here, and then choose the assistant I just created. Now I need to pass some data to it, and I'll pass the ticket description field, which is what the user typed and I'll map it to the user message field in the assistant, which is what gets sent to the LLM. And once we do that, the assistant will just perform its one job of analyzing the ticket and outputting those 3 responses. So now we'll use those responses to set field values in our form. So I'm setting the priority field to the priority field in the assistant, and I'll rush through the rest of them, setting request type and the tone based on what the assistant generated. And this is the first step of my workflow. But now we can build onto it using the responses that this step created. So I'll set a condition that checks the ticket type, and if it's not a product request, we want to automatically route it to the appropriate support member, and I'll need another assistant to do that. And what I'll do is create the other AI assistants in the background and skip ahead because it's the exact same process every time, and I don't want this to get too repetitive. Okay, so I've built the last 2 assistants that I'll need, one of which assigns the ticket to the correct support person, and the other one reads the ticket, looks up our company policies, and then creates 3 suggestions for handling the ticket. And I'm adding the ticket router one into my workflow now, and this assistant is set to take in the ticket priority, look up a tool function that lists all of our support members and their open tickets, assign the ticket based on priority and open ticket number, and then output the support person ID number. Then I can use that output to assign the ticket to the support person, which means I'll need to pass the assistant response, which is what it outputs, and in this case is just a support ID number, and we'll pass that to the assigned to field, which indicates who the ticket is assigned to. Now, of course, once I've assigned that ticket, I like to notify the support team member that they have a new ticket, but I don't have their email address in this application, so I'm pulling data from the support database table and linking it to the support ID field. This way, I'll have access to all the fields in this table in subsequent workflow steps. Now I can set up an email to be sent to that support team member, just notifying them that they have a new ticket. I'll need to select their email address and put in a short subject here. Then I'll just write up a short email, and I'll go grab the URL for the ticket page and just paste it into this email. And one nice thing is I can include database fields in here, so I can grab that ticket ID and append it to the end of this URL, so it will always give the support team member the correct ticket page. Now we just need to add that last assistant that creates the suggestions for each ticket, and this one is receiving the ticket description field as an input, which is what the user typed in, and then looking up a content retriever tool function that includes company policies, the knowledge base, and some FAQs, and then creates 3 suggestions for handling the ticket based on that information. So I've set up that assistant, and now we just need to write those suggestions to the database and have a field in here called AI suggestions that I will need to write that to. Okay, I'm done with the ticket workflow, so all of these things will run every time a user submits a ticket. And let's test that real fast. If I submit a ticket, it should fire off an email to the support team member. And if I go and open up that inbox, I have the support ticket and can open it up. Here in my ticket page on the left, I have a data list that displays all the open tickets for the logged in support team member. And they're all smart linked, so I can just click on one to see that ticket. And here on the right, we have all the ticket information, and we can see that the AI assistants we created are doing their job, categorizing the ticket and creating suggestions. And that's it. So we've created a workflow that takes a customer complaint, suggestion, just general feedback, categorizes it, routes it to the correct support person, and generates 3 suggestions for handling it. And I think that makes the whole process so much smoother and more efficient. And the best part is, it's not that hard to make. Now, in a different video, I even add a support chatbot to this page that helps our support agents with ticket information, order data, tracking info, and can even generate response emails, which appear down here. I've included a link in the description to that video if you'd like to see it. If you'd like to learn more about how Empower can simplify application development and bring AI to your business data, visit us on the web at mrc-productivity.com. Thanks for watching.